You might have heard that the universe is expanding. It's a common idea in science videos like this one. But if the universe is expanding, it had a beginning, and where did it begin? What is the universe expanding into? What is the universe is everything? Then what is outside of the universe? Does anything exist outside of the universe? In 2023, we don't really know how the universe began or what, if anything, lies beyond it. But we can look at some of the evidence for how the universe works to try to understand what these answers could be. Some scientists think the answer to both of these questions can be found in the Big Bang. Others think that the Big Bang only explains part of the story. To talk about the beginnings of the universe, we need to go back a very long way. Scientists estimate that the universe is around 13.8 billion years old. That's a big number, but not infinite. For most of human history, the idea of an infinitely old universe was pretty common. But with modern science, we now have a pretty good idea that our universe had a start. We also have evidence that the universe is still expanding today. In 1929, a scientist named Edwin Hubble noticed something interesting when he was looking at distant galaxies. He noticed that the light from those galaxies was shifted towards the red end of the spectrum, which meant that the galaxies were moving away from us. The farther away a galaxy was, the faster it seemed to be moving away. This observation led to the idea that the universe is expanding because all of the galaxies are flying apart from each other. It's like if you put a bunch of dots on a balloon and then you blow it up. The dots would all move away from each other. So all of the galaxies are sort of like the dots on the balloon, and the universe is the balloon. And something must have caused the balloon to be blown up in the first place. For a long time, scientists thought that maybe there was some kind of force that was pushing all of the galaxies away from each other. But in the 1970s, two scientists, Arno Penzias and Robert Wilson, discovered the cosmic microwave background radiation. This radiation is basically a snapshot of what the universe looked like around 400,000 years after the Big Bang. The discovery of the cosmic microwave background radiation gave scientists a lot more evidence that our universe did indeed have a beginning, and the fact that the universe was filled with light around 400,000 years after the Big Bang suggests that the universe couldn't have been infinitely large. Otherwise, light would have had to travel an infinite distance, and that would take an infinite amount of time, which contradicts the fact that the universe began at a specific time. The cosmic microwave background radiation also helped scientists realize that the universe wasn't just expanding, it was actually expanding at an accelerating rate. This acceleration is caused by something called dark energy. Dark energy makes up around 70% of the mass energy of the universe, but we don't really know what it is or where it came from. So here we have evidence that the universe began around 13.8 billion years ago, the Big Bang. We also have evidence that the universe is expanding and speeding up, which means that the universe must be getting bigger. But that still doesn't answer the question of what the universe is expanding into. After all, if the universe is everything, then what's outside of the universe? Well, some scientists think that the universe isn't really getting bigger, it's just stretching. Imagine if you took a rubber duck and stretched out its neck. The neck of the rubber duck represents space, and as you stretch it, the dots on the neck represent the galaxies. As you stretch the rubber duck, the dots don't move relative to each other. They stay the same distance apart. But if you shrink the rubber duck, the dots get closer together. If you're watching this, it's probably safe to assume that you are familiar with the concept of time moving forward. You can remember the past, but you can't change the future. However, Albert Einstein showed us that space and time intertwined in a sort of fabric are relative. What appears to be a second near a black hole could be thousands of years on Earth. Time moving forward is called the arrow of time. The arrow of time, combined with the idea of space being stretchy, allows some scientists to explain the expansion of the universe without needing an outside container for the universe to expand into. Instead, this view suggests that the universe has no edges, and that any edge that you came to would just be another part of the universe that you could travel to if you went fast enough. But let's say that you didn't believe this stretchy space explanation. Let us pretend that the universe really is getting bigger, and we just haven't found the edge yet. What would you see if you looked far enough? What is outside of the observable universe? What? Could there be another universe? A lot of scientists think that the idea of multiple universes might make sense when you consider the Big Bang Theory. According to the Big Bang Theory, our universe began from a hot, dense ball of matter. At first, the matter was so hot and dense that we can't even define things like space and time. Then, As the universe cooled, particles began to form, and eventually atoms and stars and galaxies. But the conditions that led to the formation of these things had to be just right. If there were too many or too few particles, or if the initial energy of the universe was slightly different, life as we know it might not exist. Many scientists think that if the conditions were even slightly different, life couldn't evolve or it would evolve very differently. So our existence seems to require fine-tuning. And if other universes had different physical properties, they might not have life in them. But if you're willing to accept the possibility of other universes, does that mean that there's an endless number of parallel universes? Not necessarily. Some scientists think that there could be a finite number of universes that are stacked up against each other like layers of a cake. Each universe could have different physical properties than the one next to it. Other scientists think that there could be an infinite number of layers. But each layer would be unobservable since we can only observe what's inside of our own universe. What do you think? Is the universe stretchy and endless? Or is it layered like a cake? Or maybe there's an entirely different explanation that we haven't thought of yet. It's worth pointing out that while scientists work to answer these questions, there's a whole branch of physics known as cosmology that assumes the universe is infinite. Physicists who take this approach tend to describe the universe as being flat, meaning that no matter which direction you traveled, you would always find the same thing. And while scientists struggle to figure out what the universe is expanding into, it's worth noting that the idea of an expanding universe is still relatively new. Before the 20th century, most physicists assumed that the universe was static. Static means that it doesn't change over time. Today, most scientists agree that the universe isn't static, but they don't completely understand why it's expanding or if it will continue to expand forever. If the expansion of the universe continues, it could eventually cause all of the matter in the universe to drift apart. Stars would drift away from us, becoming smaller and dimmer until they're too dim to see. Eventually, we would be left in total darkness, completely alone in an expanding universe. But we don't have to be pessimistic. Maybe one day we'll figure out how to use dark energy to propel ourselves through space, allowing us to explore parts of the universe that we have never seen before. Or maybe we'll discover evidence of another universe. Imagine what we would learn if we could observe another universe that was slightly different from ours. We might learn why our universe ended up with life in it, or we might find ourselves in a universe that's full of giant rubber ducks. Now watch. How long would it take to see the edge of the universe, or check out? Is the universe a simulation,